नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu series. We are starting with the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Southern Division. Within the components of Rasa, we will be discussing the Stahi Bhav. But before that, let me inform you that this time we are discussing the verse by verse discussion on Sahi Bhav. We have already completed verse by verse discussion of Vibhav. We have discussed the verse by verse discussion on Anubhav, verse by verse discussion on Satviki Bhav, and verse by verse discussion on the Vabhichari Bhav. So in the southern division, there are five waves: Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vabhichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. So the fifth wave is Stahi Bhav. So we will be discussing the fifth wave, that is the Stahi Bhav. But those of you who are joining for the first time, I hope you're aware that we should have thoroughly studied the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Eastern Division. And I would recommend, and I will share the link also in this group, that one should repeatedly study the Eastern Division, the first 19 chapters, which is part of our Bhakti Shastri course. And also, one should study with the Acharya's commentaries to get a deeper understanding of this first 19 chapters, which comprise the Eastern Division, sorry, which has four waves. The Southern Division is a very important division, which is the components of rasa. The five rasas are analyzed. Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Sanchari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. And this is like the entire central to the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu comprises of the Eastern, the Southern, the Western, and the Northern division. And the Southern division is very important because without understanding the components of rasa, then the discussion on the five primary rasas, which is the Eastern division, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, will will not be able to understand because we have to know the components. Like if you want halwa, then you should know what are the components required, what are the ingredients required to make halwa. Instead of suji, you take some other ingredient, then you'll not get halwa. So there are specific ingredients which, when combined together, give rise to halwa. So similarly, there are specific ingredients which combine together to give rise to rasa in the form of shanta, dasya, sakya, and vatsalya. And there are the gaun rasas, the bibhatsa rasa, the bhayanak rasa, the karuna rasa, the raudra rasa. Like that, there are seven. There are seven, and there is compatible rasas and incompatible rasas, eight and nine. So this is a further discussion. So there are nine waves in the northern division. So to understand the eastern division, the five primary rasas, and the seven secondary rasas, the components of rasa have to be very thoroughly understood. And to understand the components of rasa, one has to thoroughly also understand the Eastern division. What is the definition of Shuddha Bhakti? What is Sadhana Bhakti? What is Bhava Bhakti? What is Prema Bhakti? So it is important we study the the Eastern division thoroughly. And I would recommend that one should also study because Banu Maharaj has come up with the translations of Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti. So one should have a comprehensive study and one should repeatedly study year after year the Eastern Division because this is the primary book. Our whole definition of bhakti, practice of bhakti is based on Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada calls it as the complete science uh, of devotional service. That's how the nectar of devotion. How let us see of devotion. Yeah, the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. And Prabhupada is a summary study of Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita. Prabhupada wrote a summary study. So this is the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. So if you don't know the science of Bhakti Yoga, then we cannot practice Bhakti Yoga. So one has to thoroughly study this and along with the commentaries. And we started the discussion a year back, if I remember, not a year back, maybe in the month of, yeah, I think so, a year back. And we started with Vibhav, verse by verse discussion. And we have discussed around 30 classes on Vibhav. Then we discussed the verse by verse discussion on Anubhav. And then verse by verse discussion on Satviki Bhav, and then verse by verse discussion on Vyabhichari Bhav. So as far as I remember, there are 30 classes on Vibhav, 2 classes on Anubhav, around 8-10 classes on Satviki Bhav, and around 20 classes on Vyabhichari Bhav, 16 to 20 classes. So those who have joined, many devotees were there in this whole discussion, but those who have joined for only the Sthahi Bhav, I would also recommend that you go through these lectures on Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, and Vyabhichari Bhav, verse by verse. And then uh, today, before beginning Stahiba verse by verse discussion, I will be taking overview of Vibhav, overview of Anubhav, overview of Satviki Bhav, and overview of Vyabhichari Bhav. This itself will be also few classes. And this we are doing because those who are already there in this course, just to rebrush our concepts very clearly. And those who are joined new, they will also get a overview of these components of rasa, and then they'll be better able to relish the verse by verse discussion on Stahi Bhav. Okay. So having said that, so now let's begin with the overview of Vibhav. Now, these are the norms for the classes. The class will be interactive. You can keep your video on, but mute your audio. In fact, I will mute your audio so that there is no distraction. I will discuss a few points or slides and then pause for questions from the participants. Kindly use the raise hand button in the Zoom feature to raise your hands to ask questions. Don't type your questions in the chat box. Don't type anything on the chat box. Even don't type Dandavat Pranams to all of you. No need for that. Please, just ground yourself by taking deep breaths, inhaling, exhaling, and then chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in a prayerful mood so that you can attentively participate in this discussion. I'll be showing the PPTs on the Zoom screen. It is best you can use a laptop for discussion and focus study. Mobile Zoom camera is small and there are disturbance like calls coming in. Moving around with the mobile camera can be avoided. Many do that. They use their camera on, mobile camera on, and they're walking here and there. That's not how you attend a class. Kindly share your email address and WhatsApp number. I have it already. I will send the PPTs to all of you. I will share this in the group. And if you later on have any questions, then you can record your questions and WhatsApp me directly. I will record the answer and send it back in the group. Okay. So as I was explaining, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's an ocean. And just like an ocean has four primary directions, north, south, east, and west. So Rup Goswami, this entire work has divided into uh, four Vibhaga. Vibhaga means divisions. The eastern, the the Purva Vibhaga, the southern, the Dakshin Vibhaga, the western, the Pashchim Vibhaga, and then is the Uttara, the northern division. And just like in the ocean, in these four directions, there are waves. You can see here the waves. So he has divided the eastern division into four waves. Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. And then the southern division, the rasa ingredients. There are five rasa ingredients. Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhav, Sanchari Bhav, and Vyabhichari Bhav. So there are five waves. And there are Mukhya Rasas, primary Rasas. There are five Mukhya Rasas. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So there are five divisions, five Laharis in the Western division. And in the Northern, as I mentioned, there are seven Gaun Rasas plus two chapters on what is compatible and incompatible. What are compatible and incompatible rasas. So here you can see further analysis of mixed rasas, mixing of rasas, further analysis of mixed rasas, and perverted expression of mellows. So that's like additional chapters. Otherwise, there is, laughing ecstasy, hasyaras, astonishment and chivalry, compassion and anger, dread and ghastliness. And then there is mixing of rasas. All this is discussed. Here is the this is Madhuri Ras, Vatsalya Ras, this is Sakya, this is Dasya, and then this is Shant Rasa. So like that, we have these divisions. So here again, this Uttar Vibhaga, Purva Vibhaga, Dakshin Vibhaga, and Paschima Vibhaga. So the Purva Vibhaga is Bhagavat Bhakti Ved. That is the title given for this Purva Vibhaga. And these comprise the first 19 chapters in Prabhupada's Nectar of Summer Devotion Summary Study. Then there is Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. This is chapters 20 to 24. And there is Mukhya Bhakti Ras. This is 35 to 44. And then there is the Gauna Bhakti Ras, 45 to 51. So these are how Prabhupada has put in his chapters And as I mentioned in the Bhakti Shastri, we only study the first 19 chapters. But that is not the end. We should study the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu over a period of time. And that's what we are doing now. Later on, we will be planning to start the Paschim Vibhaga and the Uttar Vibhaga. So here again, further you can see that these are the laharis. Overview of devotion, devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, devotional service in love of God. So here I put Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. So there are 4 waves here. And within the southern division, there are 5 waves. Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. So we have studied up till now the 4 waves. Now we are beginning with the 5th wave. And as I mentioned, we will take the overview. So those who have joined new will also get a clear understanding of it. Okay. Southern section, defining the components of rasa. So the first wave concerning Vibhav. Now, in our verse discussion, we have exhaustively studied. So the first wave, that is Vibhav, causes of Bhakti Ras, the components of rasa, definition of Vibhav, Krishna as the Vishay, and then the qualities of Krishna as a component of Vishay. The 64 qualities are discussed. Then Krishna in his 4 aspects. And then there is Krishna with 8 auspicious qualities. Then devotee as Ashraya. Of course, when we do the overview, we will understand what all Vibhav consists of. This is just the table of contents. By attainment, sadhaka bhava bhakti, by siddha prema bhakti, samprapti siddhi, then nitya siddha, and then by rasa, shanta, dasya, sakya, vatsalya, and madhurya, and uddipan. What is uddipan? We'll study Krishna's qualities, bodily age, beauty, form, softness, verbal, mental, actions, clothing, accessories, ornaments, smile, fragrance, flute, horn, anklets. Then these are all the udipans. So this is what we have studied in our verse by verse discussion for around 30 classes. So this vow we will start as an overview in 3 classes. As I mentioned, Vibhav is Nectar of Devotion chapters 20 to 34. But in that, Vibhav is 20 to 26. Anubhav is chapter 27. Stahi Bhav is chapter 28. Vyabhichari Bhav is 29 to 31. And Stahi Bhav is 32 to 34. Okay. Now let's come to Vibhav. Okay, up till now, any questions anyone has? Any questions, any clarifications of what we have discussed before we begin the overview of Vibhav? Devotees can on their camera so that I'll also feel that I'm not only impersonally speaking to the yes, yes. We're able to have darshan of all the devotees. So any questions you have up till now? What we have discussed? Okay. Okay, let's now start the overview of Vibhav. So Rup Goswami begins by chanting the Mangalacharan. Prabalam ananya shaina nisevita sahajarupena agadamano maturayam sada sanatana tanur jayati. May the eternal form of Krishna, Sanatana Tanur, killer of Agasura, Agadamano, served strongly by his natural beauty, Prabalam Ananya Shaina Nisevita, served, Ananya Shaina. Prabhalam means strong, which is attractive even without ornaments and which is non-different from his very self. Sahaja Rupena remain with all attractive features eternally in the district of Mathura. Jayati Mathurayam Sada. So this is like part of the Mangalacharan verse. There is also another meaning. May Sanatan Goswami, Sanatana Tanu. Sanatan also means the eternal form of Krishna and also it means Sanatan Goswami. who conquers all sins, Agadamano, and is served with devotion by his younger brother Rupa Goswami, Nisevita Sahaja Rupena. So Rup Goswami is offering his Mangalacharan to his elder brother Sanatan Goswami here, who is also his spiritual master, who has taken shelter of him alone. Pravalam Ananya Shrena remain eternally in Mathura district. Jayati Mathurayam Sada. Okay, now Rup Goswami says, Rasamritabder bhagesmin dvite dakshina bide samanya bhagavat bhakti rasastva twadya udirate. The second part of the sweet ocean of rasa, Rasamrita bhage asmin dvitiya. So dvitiya means second division. The first division is Purva Bhag, that is the eastern division. The second division is the Dakshina Bhag, which is called as the southern division. Dakshina Abide. Abide means it is known, it is called as. So Dakshina Bhag, southern. It describes Tavad Udirata. Udirata means describes the general rasas within devotion of the Lord. Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. So if you remember, I mentioned here that it is what? Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. Dakshina Vibhav. Samanya Bhagavad Bhakti Ras. Okay. अस्य पञ्चलहरिस्योर्विभावाख्याग्रिमे अख्याग्रिमामत द्वितीया तु अनुभावाख्या तृतीया सात्विका विधा व्यभिचार्य अभिधा तुर्या साहि संज्ञा च पंचमी. So this Dakshin Vibhag has five waves. And what are the names? He is telling. There are five waves or chapters in the southern section of the ocean. Asya Pancha Lahari Syur. The first deals with Vibhav. Vibhav Akhya Grima Mata. The second is with Anubhav. Dvitiya tu Anubhav Akhya. The third is with Satviki Bhav. Tritiya Satvika Bidha. And the fourth with Vebhichari Bhav. Vebhicharya Abhidha Turya. Turya means fourth. And the fifth with Sahi Bhav. Stahi Samghya Cha Panchami. So Prabhupada also says, in this division of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are five general topics. Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vebhichari Bhav, and Stahi Bhav. Prabhupada has given some English equivalents to these Sanskrit terms. And of course, no English word can actually express the actual term of the Sanskrit word use, because every emotion in the heart in Sanskrit can be exactly explained in words. But English, you cannot explain. That's why Prabhupada has used causes of ecstasy or special symptoms. Then Anubhav is subsequent ecstasy. That follows, which follows Vibhav is Anubhav. Satviki Bhav is constitutional or existential ecstasy. Constitutional means because the soul, the ecstasies come from the soul, not from the mind. Vabhichari Bhav, he says aggressive ecstasy. And Stahi Bhav as fervent or continuous ecstasy. Okay. Okay, now let's come to the components of rasa, vibhav, anubhav, satviki bhav, vabhichari bhav, and sthavi bhav. Because we saw that these are the five laharis. These are the five laharis. Now, before we go into this components of rasa, what is vibhav, what is anubhav, what is satviki bhav, what is vabhichari bhav, what is sthahi bhav, I'm going to present the concept of rasa, an overview from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Thakur's extract from the Prema Pradeepa. So this will be the major discussion of the class today. Tomorrow we will continue the overview of Vibhag, and this will take at least 3 classes to complete this discussion of the overview. So any questions up till now? You have any questions, any clarifications? Okay, one question is there. Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my respectful obeisances. Prabhu, these five waves, they are in the sequence, Prabhu, like one follows by second, and like
Yes, yes, yes.
as we progress.
Yes, yes. No, no, no. It's not that as we progress, this come in sequence. You'll come to know,
Okay.
Basically, actually, the main component is, I want to discuss it. The main component is Tahi Bhav. We have to be at the stage of Bhava to relish Rasa. And our Stahi Bhav is revealed at the stage of Bhava, whether it is Shant, Dasi, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, and it's cultivated after Nishtha in Raganuga Sadhana, and whatever is cultivated, you will attain that. If you have cultivated Madhurya Ras, so it will be revealed. Our Swarupa will be revealed at Bhava stage, and Krishna also will reveal himself, and there is exchange of rasa between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord. And that is what constitutes rasa. And rasa is a combination of all these bhavas. We are coming to that. So there has to be stahibhav, but it begins with anubhavs, as vibhav, anubhav, satviki bhav, vebhichari bhav, and then stahibhav has to be there. That's why Rup Goswami has first discussed Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvika Bhav, Vibhichari Bhav, and then kept last Tahi Bhav. This will again become clear now when we discuss. Okay, let's first understand what is the definition of rasa. In the nectar of devotion, that the word rasa is understood by different persons differently. The English dictionary includes as meaning sap, juice, syrup, and sentiment expressed or flavor contained in a rasa, in a writing, sorry. So rasa, people have different conceptions. Yeah, there is the mango juice. Oh, wonderful rasa it was, you say. So there is the juice, which is also called as rasa. And then there can be sentiment expressed or a flavor contained in a writing. Oh, the Shakespeare's Hamlet. I experienced wonderful emotions reading it. And as I repeatedly read, I experienced different flavors in that writing. So it is also a sentiment expressed. So this is more a gross understanding. This is more a finer understanding, you can see. But scholars don't call the rasa of a tree rasa because they explain a mental rasa which is superior to the rasa of an ordinary tree. So this is a material rasa in one sense. But scholars say there is a superior rasa which is called as mental rasa. In the same way, spiritualists also don't call the rasa of the material body and the mind rasa. Mental rasa is the mind rasa. That is the emotions which we experience in this world between husband and wife and children. This is not springing from the soul. This is springing from the mind. Emotions are coming from the mind because again, it is a bodily concept, but it is a little subtle and fine. That's it. But the rasa, which is naturally inherent in the soul, is called rasa. So the spiritualists call the rasa of the soul in relation to the supreme soul as real rasa. So here we can see there are three rasas. Material rasa, which is called as, parthiva rasa. There is the mantal rasa, which is called as swargiya rasa. And there is the spiritual rasa, which is called as Vaikuntha rasa. Okay, it will come up. We sometimes refer to rasa as date or sugarcane juice. How many of you have drank date juice? Please raise your hand. Date juice. How many of you have drank date juice? In Mayapur, they, from the tree extract this date juice. Khajur ka ras. And especially in the morning, you should drink because it's very good for the system also. It detoxes your system. And it's really a nectarian beverage. Sugarcane juice, I hope everyone has drank sugarcane juice. Mango juice, everyone has drank. And if you have observed, it's not only the tongue which is tasting, it is the mind. And there is a certain feeling in the heart. You're experiencing certain happiness, and the happiness is coming from the heart. But heart here, I mean the emotional heart, not the spiritual heart. So like that, this is a material rasa. Byproducts like good or sugar or rock candy. And we sometimes refer to rasa as a relationship between the hero and the heroine. So in this world, hero and heroine is there. But actually, we know that the real rasa is the relationship between our souls and the soul of all souls, Sri Krishna. So the real rasa is between the soul and the supreme soul. Okay. The difference in bhava and rasa is that many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. So first you have to understand what is the difference between now bhava and rasa. We have discussed that these are all rasas, but what comprises rasa is bhavas. And these many bhavas give rise to rasa. Rasata is attained when all bhavas combine together. All bhavas have to combine together to give rise to rasa. Amongst all the bhavas, the bhava which is prominent is called stahi bhav. So there has to be a permanent emotion, just like between the mother and the child. Between the mother and the child, what is the permanent emotion the mother has for the child? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Shubh Ikshan Krishna. Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah, Prabhu. Vatsalya Bhav, Prabhu. Like,
Vatsalya. That is Vatsalya. Between the boss and the employee. What is that rasa? Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji.
that servitude, Prabhuji.
Servitude. It is mostly dasa, but nobody wants to be dasa.
Yes.
So that prominent or permanent rasa is called as Tahi Bhav. That is called as Tahi Bhav. It has to be there. If this is not there, then other bhavas will not combine to give rise rasa. Amongst the other three bhavas, one is named Vibhava, one is named Anubhava, and one is named Sanchari Bhav. So, with the Stahi Bhav, all these other bhavas should combine and then they give rise to rasa. Bhava, with the support of other three, becomes relishable and is transformed into rasa. So, here I have given an example. Now, interestingly, bhava means, material ingredients. There is another nature, material nature, spiritual nature. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses this term bhava to mean that. Bhava also means the material nature. Anyone knows where does Krishna use this term? Bhava means material ingredients or material nature. Anyone knows? Nobody knows. Okay. This is Bhagavad Gita 2.16. नासते ना सतो विद्यते भाव ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टान्तस् त्वनयोस् तत्वदर्शिभिः. Asat, that is this material world, bhava, you know. So this asata is the material nature. And then there is sata, that is the eternal. So there is the material, which is temporary, which is non-existent, it is not eternal. And there is a spiritual, which is eternal. So my point here is that the emotions which the mother has for the child is only this life, because it is material emotions. The moment the mother dies, she'll forget the relationship with the child. The child might remember, but when the child also dies, then he'll also forget his relationship with mother. Because these emotions are material. And in the Bhagavad Gita, further, these are material ingredients in the eighth chapter. Not in the eighth chapter, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Bhavam has been used here. Nature, bhavam as nature. So bhava can have meanings like material ingredients. Bhava can have meaning like material emotions, and bhava also means spiritual emotions. So rava, ghee, sugar, dry fruits, and milk, when all are combined in a very systematic way at particular times in cooking, all give rise to what is called as halwa, which is rasa. Only by eating halwa, you can experience rasa. You just cannot take raw rava and eat it. Of course, individually as milk also you can drink and experience rasa, but there are ingredients within the milk also. There are dry fruits you can eat, sugar you can eat and get rasa. But here we are speaking about combining the ingredients to give the example. So rasata is attained when all bhava is combined together. Now, I mentioned that Stahi Bhav is a prominent bhava which has to be there in order to relish rasa. Now, that is called as Stahi Bhav, the prominent rasa. Now, in this halwa, among these ingredients, please raise your hand. What do you feel which is the Stahi Bhav or the prominent rasa, prominent ingredient? Please raise your hands. One hand has been raised. Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Rava Prabhu.
Rava. Okay. Uh, there is rava, there is ghee, there is dry fruits, there is milk, and the halwa is prepared. And you eat the halwa. Will you relish rasa?
Sorry, I could not get the question, Prabhu. If
Pardon?
we if we eat them individually, Prabhu, what is the question, Prabhu?
No, no, no. There is halwa made with, rava, ghee, dry fruits, milk. And there is
Oh,
no sugar added in it.
oh,
Will you relish rasa?
no, no, Prabhu.
No.
Oh,
Right?
okay, okay, Prabhu.
So
So
the
is it sugar?
prominent rasa is
Oh, okay, sugar.
sugar.
Mm.
If sugar they add salt, will you relish rasa?
No, no, Prabhu.
In halwa? No. So the right ingredient has to be there also. Of course, these examples have limitations. Every example has a limitation. Of course, rava is also required. Instead of rava, if you have, besan, you cannot have halwa rasa. So rava is also ingredient required, but the main ingredient is sugar. Okay. The difference in bhava and rasa is that many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. Many bhavas unitedly give rise to combine together to give rise to rasa. Now, these are the ingredients here. Okay. These are the ingredients here. Now, please tell me what is the main item being prepared with these ingredients. Anyone? Anyone would like to try? Seeing the ingredients, you should be able to tell what is the item which is going to be prepared. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pizza?
Yes, it's going to be pizza. Now, what is the prominent bhava or the main ingredient of the Stahi bhava or pizza?
I guess the pizza base, which is
Yes, the pizza base has to be there. The pizza base has to be there. So like that. So I hope you understood what is a Stahi Bhava. Hmm? So there is Vibhav, Anubhav, Stahi Bhav, Sanchari Bhav, and Satviki Bhav. All these combine to give rise to rasa. The Stahi Bhav has to be there. The Stahi Bhav, along with Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, and Sanchari Bhavs combined and give rise to rasa. So that's the meaning here. Okay. Now let's come to Vibhav. Let's come to Vibhav. You have understood a little bit of Vibhav. Now, Vibhav is, you know, I mentioned there has to be a Stahi Bhav. Stahi Bhav, as we have understood, is that, there has to be, like in Vatsalya Ras, that is the Stahi Bhav, there has to be an object of love and there has to be a subject of love. Now, for the mother, the object of love is the child, and the subject is she herself, because she possesses love in her heart. So there is something called as Vibhav Alamban. Alamban means the support. There has to be two, Vishay and Ashray, the subject and the shelter of love. And there are something called as Uddipan. Uddipan are related to the subject. There are certain things which can uh, ignite the Stahi Bhavs. First of all, there has to be Vibhav. There has to be support, the Vishay and the Ashraya. So here I have drawn in the picture. Alamban means support. Just like at least two. In love cannot be, between only one person. There have to be two persons. You cannot have love with oneself. There has to be two. Hmm. So that's what is the Vishay and the Ashraya. Uddipan will come to it a little more. As I mentioned, within the subject, there are things connected to the subject uh, they are like spiritual stimulus for the Stahi Bhav. Within the Vibhav, they are called as Uddipan. They are called as Uddipan. Now, what are the Uddipan in different rasas? In the Sakyaras, when Krishna in the morning, he's getting ready. Mother Yashoda is making him ready, dressing him. All the friends are very eager to go with Krishna to the forest. And Krishna sounds his bugle, you know. And then everyone comes and now they know that they are going to play with Krishna. The Sakyaras gets stimulated by Krishna's blowing the bugle or the horn or the stick. In the Vatsalya Ras, what I was explaining was that there are certain objects related to the Vishaya which stimulate the Stahi Bhav. Like Mother Yashoda, when she sees the ornaments, or Krishna, Mother Yashoda is in the kitchen and she hears the tinkling of the ankle bells. She starts feeling Vatsalya affection for the Lord. The curly hairs, all this, they within the Vibhav that can be that can stimulate the Stahi Bhav. For the Madhuri Ras, Krishna in Tribhanga Lalita playing the flute, when Krishna played the flute in the Vamsi Vata, all the gopis understood and their Madhuri Ras got, instigated, you can say, or when they see the full moon night. So that agitates the Madhuri Bhav or the Stahi Bhav. So that is Uddipan. As I mentioned, there are three types of rasa: worldly rasa, heavenly rasa, and spiritual rasa. So the worldly rasa is called as Parthiva rasa. Parthiv means belonging to earth, material it is. It is. The heavenly rasa is the rasa which we are familiar in this world, the relationship within father and son, husband and wife, lover and beloved, and servant and master. All these are mental rasas, they're called. The spiritual rasas are the rasas which are in relation with the soul and the supreme soul. Okay, worldly rasa or parthiva rasa. When referring to worldly rasa, four types of bhavas are observed: stahi bhav, vibhav, anubhav, and sanchari bhav. There are only four rasas with respect to worldly rasa. Let us see the examples of parthiva rasa. A few bhavas appear on seeing the sweet delicacy. Your stahi bhav is that you are attracted to sweets. So that's your stahi bhav. Somebody can be having taste for only eating spicy items. So his stahi bhav is spicy items. And when he sees any spicy item, then he gets excited. Wow, there is paneer butter masala. you know. Or somebody's stahi bhav can be, salty items. They like a lot of salty items. So his tahi bhav is what? No, salty items like finger chips in added with salt, a lot of salt. So here the stahi bhav is sweet. First, the rati attachment to the sweet rasa is called stahi bhav. I mentioned this. Okay. Now, based on your little understanding, please hear very carefully. As I mentioned, for love, there have to be two, Vishay and Ashray. You have love for the sweet. So within the Vibhav, there is the Vishay and the Ashray. Yes, within the Vibhav. So kindly tell me, what is the Vibhav Vishay and what is the Vibhav Ashray in case of sweet delicacy? Some sweet item, halwa or rasgulla, whatever it is. What is the Vibhav Vishay and what is the Vibhav Ashray? Anyone? Raise your hands. Arjun, Sarthi, Prabhuji, are you there? I'd like to hear from you also. Are you there? Would like to answer? Okay. Sadhu Sevan, Prabhuji? Yes.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Vishay is the person himself, and the object, Vibhav Ashraya is the object, which is sweet in this case, Prabhuji.
Can you speak a little loudly, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, Vibhav Vishay is the person who gets attracted, right?
Has to be an object
And
that is
yes,
subject. What is
yes.
object?
Object is the person himself, and sorry, subject is the person himself, and object is the sweet,
Object is a sweet.
right?
Person himself.
And
So
person is the Vishay, subject.
subject is the person, Ashray, and the
Ashraya.
Vishay is the object, that is the sweet delicacy, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So, but exactly where is the subject residing?
Oh, okay. Our senses, Prabhuji.
Which sense?
Tongue.
Tongue, exactly. This is what I wanted, the tongue. The tongue wants to taste,
Okay.
the sweet item.
Okay.
The object of rati is Vibhav. There are two types of objects as ashray or shelter and vishay or subject. That which has attachment for the sweet, the human tongue, is the ashray, shelter. That towards which the attachment rushes. The Guda is the Vishay. Guda means the sweet subject. So you are correct. All the qualities of temptation which exist in the Vishaya are called Uddipan. Now, I was mentioning about halwa. Suppose that halwa is hot, and there is steam coming out. So that he has already attraction for sweet, and that to halwa, and that halwa is hot. So it's more tempting for him. Now that halwa steam is coming out, and also there are a lot of dry fruits put on it, you know. So all these temptations which are there in the Vishaya, they are called as Uddipan. Now Krishna, is the Vishaya for the gopis, but Krishna is more beautiful on the dark moon, on the full moon night. So the full moon night becomes more Uddipan for the Madhuri Ras. And on top of that, Krishna is standing in Tribhanga and then with his flute. So all the qualities of temptation within the Vishaya are called Uddipan. I hope you understood what is Uddipan. When the attachment is awakened for the sweet, then whatever symptoms are manifest are called Vibhav. Oh, there is sweet today. And he starts going towards the sweet. So these are expressions of that, you know, symptoms seeing the sweet. So the attachment is awakened. This is Anubhav. Like the mother has the love for the child. And she voluntarily, when she is a child, she opens her arms to embrace the child. So that love which is there in the heart for the Vishaya is there is a voluntary action, symptoms in the form of, the hands opening up to embrace the child. So this action of opening up the arms to embrace the child, this is called as Anubhav. This action is called as Anubhav. I hope you are understanding this. In order to nourish the attachment, feelings such as joy are called Sanchari Bhav. In fact, seeing that there is hot halwa, you might start dancing, you know. Oh, today there is halwa, hot halwa, and you start dancing. So this, very aggressive kind of ecstasy which appears is called as Sanchari Bhav. Sanchari Bhavs are called as transient emotions in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And these emotions in the waves, in the ocean, there are sometimes very high waves which rise up high and suddenly they fall. So these transient emotions or sanchari bhavs are like that. They rise very high in the ocean of bhakti ras and they fall and embellish the sthayi bhav. So the sanchari bhavs, just like Mother Yashoda sees Krishna in the coils of Kaliya, she has Vatsalya affection, but her Vatsalya affection goes now to a very high height and she's fainting in ecstasy seeing Krishna in the coils of Kaliya. So that Vishaya, her love goes to an height because he's in the coils of Kaliya. So this power is called a Sanchari Bhav. When the attachment for sweet becomes palatable by support of these bhavas, that is sweet rasa. So when all these bhavas combine, you relish a certain type of emotion when you eat that sweet. Okay, now let's do this exercise. Uh, who will tell me what is the Vishay here? Who will tell me what is the Vishay here? Vibhav, Vishay Alamban. Vibhav, Vishay Alamban. Priya Mataji.
Prabhuji, the boy who wants to eat those cookies is the subject.
Subject is what very clearly, object we are asking Vishay. Vibhav, Vishay Alamban.
The cookies,
The cookies. Okay, correct. What is the Vibhav Ashray Alamban? Anyone else? What is the Vibhav Ashray Alamban? What is the Vibhav Ashray Alamban here? Anyone? Shubha Ekshana Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhu, tongue.
The tongue, yes. Now you can just, it's not here, but you can just come up with some temptations which can be in the Vibhav Vishayalamban. What can be the temptations here which will stimulate his Stahi Bhav towards sweet disgust? What can be the temptations? Yes, Shubhaikshan Krishna.
Prabhu, the crispiness of the cookies or the flavor or the aroma which is coming out, the
Yes.
color.
And then if there is some cream, there is carob cream or white cream. So all this become Uddipan. Okay. Then what is the Anubhav? Anyone? What is Anubhav? Of course, it's not so clear here, but the Anubhav is wow. He says there is cookies. And the Sanchari Bhav is he has raised his hands and he's jumping. Once one of my friend with his daughter had come to the temple, and after they took darshan, there is apple, and I gave the apple to the daughter. She immediately took the apple, started munching it, and started jumping in ecstasy. I said, "What happened to her?" And my friend said that no, she loves apples. The moment she starts eating apples, she's in ecstasy. She was jumping in ecstasy. So that's like a Sanchari Bhav. Okay, attachment to sweet rasa. Here the cookies is the Stahi Bhav. Vibhav Alaman Vishay, the sweet biscuits. Vibhav Alaman Ashray is the tongue. Then temptation in the Vishay is called Udipan, hot, crispy, cream, smell. And Anubhav is a voluntary action, heightened affection for the sweet biscuits, hand raised. Feelings of joy are called the Sanchari Bhav that nourish attachment. So this is the whole science of rasa. Okay. I'll just conclude this discussion just in another 5 minutes. In between, we had just a 5-minute break, so I'll just conclude it. Now we'll come to the Swargya Rasa. A simple example is of mother and child relationship. The child's beautiful face, for example, can heighten a motherly affection. A child's face corresponds to Vibhav. Anubhav is action that results from heightened affection for the child. Perhaps she will embrace her child. This corresponds to Anubhav. Satviki bhava, the involuntary reaction that results from heightened affection for the child. Like I mentioned, Anubhav is a voluntary action, voluntary reaction seeing the Vibhav. Anubhav, like you yourself intelligently open up your arms to express your love, to embrace. But Satviki bhav are the hair standing on end or tears coming from the eyes, seeing the child. Now you cannot tell tears, eyes, please start, pouring tears. No, it happens naturally. It is not in your control. That's why they are called as involuntary reactions. That's why they are called as Satviki Bhav. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur only, mentioned Vibhav, Anubhav, and Sanchari Bhav, and not Satviki Bhav initially, if you remember. Because Satviki Bhavas are involuntary. Vyabhichari Bhav is the emotional experience that results from intensified affection for the child. Okay, spiritual rasas. Vibhav is that which stimulates one's eternal affection for Krishna. Here it is eternal affection because the soul in relation to the Supreme Soul. Anubhav is the action that results from heightened affection for Krishna. I told, opening of the arms to embrace. Satviki Bhav is an involuntary reaction that results from heightened affection for Krishna. Vyabhichari Bhav is an emotional experience that results from the intensified affection for Krishna. When Mother Yashoda saw Krishna enwrapped in the deadly coils of Kali, I explained this. Stahi Bhav is one's eternal mood of affection for Krishna. Shant, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. So that's why when there is Stahi Bhav, when it combines with all these bhavas, It guys gives rise to rasa. Okay, the last exercise. Who will answer? What is the Stahi Bhav here in this picture? What is the Stahi Bhav? What is the Stahi Bhav here? Vinita Mataji, what is the Stahi Bhav here?
It's the Vatsalya Bhav towards Krishna, mother's Vatsalya Bhav towards
What is
Krishna.
the Vishay Alamban? Vibhav Vishay Alamban. Who is
It's
the
Krishna.
Krishna?
It's
What is
Krishna.
the Vibhav Ashray Alamban?
Ashraya Alamban is Mother Yashoda's affection, her eyes when she sees him.
Mother Yashoda. And can you think about some Uddipans?
Lifting the arms, the mother lifting the arms and Krishna
That
coming
is not
towards her.
Uddipan. That
Lifting
is
the
not
arms.
Uddipan.
Okay.
This is within Vibhav. Please remember, Uddipans are within Vibhav.
Okay, it's Vibhav. No, Prabhuji. Can't think of.
Pardon?
No, I can't think of that.
Okay, okay. Shubha Krish Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhu, the sunset which is in the background, or the Godhuli
Yes,
which
the
is not
sunset.
visible here.
Okay.
Krishna's
The
curly
Godhuli.
hairs can also be, Uddipan. Okay, now what is Anubhav here? Anyone? Anubhav? Pinita Marjorie, you spoke about Anubhav. What is Anubhav? Actually, the opening of the arms, the voluntary reaction based on the Vibhav,
Reaction.
the object of love. You see your object of love, your child, and you want to embrace him. That love which is there in the heart is expressed in the form of voluntary action. Please understand this voluntary action. You
Okay.
open up your arms. That is Anubhav. The Satviki bhavs can be the hair standing on end. It can happen or not happen, or tears, in the eyes. And then there is a Sanchari bhav. Of course, it is not here in this picture. Okay, so here you can see Vatsalya Ras is the Sahi bhav. Vibhav Alaman Vishay is Krishna. Vibhav Alaman is Ashray Mother Yashoda. Temptations in the Vishaya are called Udipan, Sunset, Godhuli. Anubhav is a voluntary action from heightened affection for the object of love. Here you can see opening of the arms. Feelings of joy are called as Sanchari Bhav, that nourish attachment.
Attachment.
Now the difference between Swargiya Ras and Vaikuntha Ras. Swargiya Ras is broader and more magnanimous than Parthiva Ras because its subject is more subtle than matter. You cannot have a relationship with cookies. You relish the cookie, but the cookie cannot, it doesn't have emotions that it will express, oh, I also relished you. No. So there are, one is living object, the jiva, lover and beloved. So that's why it's more broader and more magnanimous. As Swargiya Ras is more broader and more magnanimous than Parthiva Ras, in the same way, Vaikuntha Ras is unlimitedly. There is some background disturbance, I think. Unlimitedly. Vaikuntha Ras is unlimitedly broader and more magnanimous than Swargiya Ras. So there is no limit. And this rasa, Vaikuntha Rasa, or the spiritual rasa, keeps on increasing. It never fades. Initially, when the husband and wife get married, the Madhurya Ras is very strong, but it keeps on fading with fights happening. So many other things. In Parthiv Rasa, there is only one relation, the relationship between the enjoyer and what is enjoyed. In Swargiya Rasa, there are four relationships, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. But in Swargiya Rasa, the object of rasa is improper and unworthy. That is why Swargiya Rasa cannot be eternal. Because ultimately, the wife or the child is not eternal. He is going to die. So it is improper and unworthy. And actually, it is the affection is for the body, not for the soul. In Vaikuntha Rasa, there are 5 types of relation: Shan, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Vaikuntha Rasa is eternal, Swargya Rasa is imperfect, because the ingredients are all temporary. Therefore, it is short-lived and it is a source of embarrassment and insignificant fruits. यही संस्पर्श जाब होगा दुख योन एवते आद्यंतवंत कौंतेय न रमते पुदा. It has a beginning, it has an end. It is temporary. The parental affection which we feel, it is going to die with the death of the son or the death of the mother. Okay, so that completes our discussion. Any questions you have before we wind up today? Any questions? Any clarifications? I'm happy that the devotees are all sitting in their personal room and they are participating in this discussion, which is very difficult in a Zoom environment. It's very good to see that. Sadhu Sevan Prabhuji, yes.
Puji Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I could not understand the exact difference between Sanchari Bhav and Anubhav. Both have actions include some, right? So what is it?
Anubhavas are voluntary emotions, voluntary reactions to the Vibhav. You see, you have all experienced this. It's not without beyond your experience. You see your child, he is Vibhava, the object of love. I am the subject of love. I have parental affection. Now you open up your arms to embrace your child. This voluntary action is Anubhav. But Sanchari Bhav is, suppose your own child, is coming running towards you and he falls down. So your affection for the child goes to an height. The Vatsalya Prem goes to an height. You go running to try to see what has happened, whether he's got hurt. So the Vatsalya affection towards the Vibhav goes to an height in such situation. And it is not that all the time, this Vatsalya affection goes to heights. In some circumstances, everyday Mother Yashoda, is experiencing, Vatsalya affection when Krishna comes back. But Krishna is in the coils of Kaliya, her Vatsalya affection goes to an height. So, Sanchari Bhavas are transient emotions. They are not permanent emotions. They are transient emotions within the Stahi Bhav, but they rise up like the tsunami wave and they fall back in the ocean of rasa. But they embellish the Stahi Bhav. So, your love for your child becomes deepened because of that emotion when the child fell down. So that is what is called a Sanchari Bhav. Is it clear?
Yes, clear, Puji. Thank you so much.
Any questions anyone else has? Okay. So thank you very, very much. So tomorrow we'll continue the overview of Vibhava and then we will have a short overview of Anubhav, which is only in one class, then Sanchari Bhav and then Stahi Bhav. Yes, Priya Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam. So there was a slide which was showing all the 5 bhavas, initially, like Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhava, Vibhachari Bhava, and Sthai Bhava.
Yeah, what is your question?
Yeah, so Sanchari is under Anubhava, means it nourishes it, right? Sanchari is also called any of these? Is there another name for Sanchari?
Sanchari Bhav and Vibhichari Bhav are the same.
Okay, now it's clear.
Yeah, here I have put it in the slide. Oh, no, that's slide. Yeah, you can see here Sanchari Bhav / Vibhichari Bhav. This is the same. I hope it's clear, right? Okay, so thank you very, very much. So tomorrow we will continue the discussion on the overview of Vibhav. Hare Krishna.